all right, folks. Good morning. It's V, the Guerrilla Economist, with my main man, CJ. We're bringing you the news, the views, and all the information important to you. Check us out, roguenews.com. Follow us on Twitter at Real Rogue News. Rogue News on every single podcasting app known to humanity. We're everywhere you want us to be, plus a bag of chips. And that being said, also check out our paid sponsors. Our paid sponsors here, folks. MyCBDEdibles.com, MyCBDEdibles.com. All your CBD needs in isolate form. Delicious. Whether it's coffee, whether it's chocolate peanut butter truffles, whatever the heck it is, man. Just go over there, MyCBDEdibles.com. There's even treats for your pooch. And also check out the Watch Us Trade Room. At the cryptoschool.io, But heck, man, if you want to pay in Bitcoin, just check out this new site. Check this new site out, WUT.live. What .live? Go check it out, man. Holy crap. You want to talk about a banging site? Go check it out, WUT.live. There you go. That is the site that we just created. Go to if you go to the WUT.live, you just simply go there. You scroll all the way down into the bottom, and you will see exactly where to join. And you can join, and you can sign up, and we have specials on Bitcoin. If you get a discount, if you want to pay monthly by Bitcoin, you get discounts. Okay, improve your confidence, improve your trading game. We have right now over 2,300% return on trades. It's amazing. It's absolutely killer. That's documented. Don't go doing your own thing. There's our traders, Z and Cowboy. Absolutely. So amazing. Go to WT.live. You can right now pay with Bitcoin. You can do a month-to-month on Bitcoin. You can do 3 months on Bitcoin. You can do 6 months on Bitcoin. Go ahead, join, increase your gains. Before you go get a secondary job over at the Macy's perfume counter, go check out what.live, WUT.live, and make it happen. Also, there's the Watch Us Trade YouTube channel that's gaining ground tremendously. You also want to check that out. We'll be trying to do some shows, and as soon as we get the clearance from Google, we can start simulcasting that. So check that out. With that being said, CJ, a lot of things going on today. If today's midterms, man, I went out and voted. I know you voted 3 times, you little bastard.
You were out early.
I was, man. I was out. I was doing my thing. I was doing my part, my civic duty. And could you believe, as soon as me and the Mrs. Gorilla walked in to the polling place in a heavily Democrat-controlled Democrat-controlled cesspool, we walked into this voting area, and we had our MAGA hats on, and we're getting our stuff together and about to go vote. And all of a sudden, here comes a mangina. Swan laking himself over to us. He's sashaying over to us, and he's like, "You need to take off your hat." What? I looked dead at him, and I said, "Why?" "You need to take it off because we don't allow anything political in here." I'm like, "This is just a hat." Because the rules is you can't have, if I came in there with a candidate's name on, right? Then I can't, obviously I can't. But I'm not wearing a shirt or any kind of apparel that has a candidate who's on the ballot, their name on my apparel. I don't have that. It's just a MAGA hat. Get over yourself. So I'll look at the guy, and he asked me, "Yeah, you better take off your hat." And I'm like, this ain't Nazi Germany. And Mrs. Gorilla, being the Mrs. Gorilla she is, and so intuitive and wise, recognizes that the temperature, my core temperature, starting to rise, and I'm about to grab said sashaying little fruitcake and put his head through the ceiling. And then Mrs. Gorilla says, "No. This is a free country. We can do what we want. Do you want me to record?" At which point, the sashaying fruitcake shut his mouth and sashayed and disappeared, all the while doing, swan laking himself over to a corner that we couldn't see him in. The point is, why are you coming up to me? Why are you asking us to remove our MAGA hats? Why? Oh, it's the rules and regulations. Rules by who? And if I don't remove my hat, what are you going to do? You're going to obstruct my right to vote? Are you kidding me? Do you know how illegal that is? Please try to obstruct me. And let's see how this plays out in the court of law. Let's see how this plays out on the media. Don't make ridiculous rules. And this, you could expect this from the libtard-controlled parts of New York and in California and in Illinois, wherever these Democrats are these statists who suckle at the teat of the tyrannical state. You can expect that from them. You can expect that kind of behavior. And furthermore, if I were, Mrs. and I were joking, if we would have walked in there with pussy hats on, with T-shirts that said "I'm with her," I'm sure they would not have a problem.
Right? No,
I'm sure if I walked in there with an Obama Biden, if we both walked in there with Obama Biden, baseball caps, both of us wearing a hijab, me claiming that my gender is peanut butter, and then she's claiming that she's a squirrel, I'm sure there would be no problem. But the cool thing is, man, it's like we're wearing those hats, and then people secretly are coming up to us, giving us high fives, and they're secret Trump supporters as well. It's like being part of this secret little clique, It's hilarious.
Right.
So went out, we voted. I just want to see the Democrats destroyed. Okay, it's the I'm not going to say the lesser of two evils. Here's the thing. I detailed this yesterday. You have a nationalist front, and you have a globalist front. Two things are completely incompatible. They don't run parallel with one another. They bisect one another. Do you understand? Do you get it? Okay? You run the nationalist route. You can't do globalist things. Do you get it? It doesn't work that way. Okay? So when we're voting at a local level, and I will tell you this, that's why, we get a chance to get her on, but she's a constitutional scholar. And she I forgot what her name is off the top of my head, but anyway, you have her. You have some of the best law professors out there saying the best way you can control this thing is on the local level. And I know in New York, there's no way that the votes from me and my wife and a few other local conservative libertarian people is going to turn the state red. It ain't going to happen. We get that, but my casting a ballot is just a big fu. It's just a big fu, and it feels good. It feels good. Okay, at some level. And I'm hoping that some of these libtards go down in flames. But the end of the day is this. We need to stop these crazy, out-of-control statists. And you can't have a revolution overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, my friend. It takes time. It takes time. But what I also will tell you, if you allow the globalists to take power, if you allow the far-reaching, far tyrannical, left-leaning policies take control of this country, then, my friend, yes, Rome wasn't built in a day, but Hiroshima and Nagasaki was destroyed and wiped out in a moment. Rome wasn't built in a day, but Hiroshima was gone in a moment. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's the choice you have here in this midterm election. And this is what I've been beating it into you guys since Trump won. Like, great, we won. Get ready for the 2018 midterms. Let's gear up for that. Let's get ready for that. And now we're here. So it's about 10:55 a.m. here on the East Coast. And I'm hoping that all of you went out there, that you all voted, that you all got it in, you all, are good to go. Because this is the most important midterms. If this midterm was not important, okay, if it was not important, you wouldn't have the left and the organizers of the left and the statists and the neocons working overtime, putting man, money, and talent, burning the midnight oil in order to get people energized and enervated if this election didn't count. They know it counts. You need to know it counts as well. And that's what I'm saying. And like I said, in these heavily Democrat-controlled areas like where I live, I'm not expecting some miraculous income. I mean, miraculous outcome. Excuse me. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Siege, what's your take, man? I know you went to like 3 different polling places and you voted. You used your Mexican card, and they allowed you to vote. You were stealth voting. You were stealth voting for the right team.
Traffic was heavy this morning.
It was.
It was heavy, and I went by because on my journey to get my son to school, I think I went by at least 3 voting areas, and 2 of them were completely packed full. I'd like to say that there's probably cars parked up. It was back at least probably a quarter of a mile. Cars were parked along the road, and people were walking. So yeah, so definitely, there's much energy for the midterms elections, and people have finally woken up to understand that the midterms, the primaries, that's where these battles are. I don't think that we would even be in this conversation 4 to 8 years ago. That at least I can't remember this amount of coverage, this amount of people getting out there. And if it's for the benefit of humanity, then that's great. I'm glad that everyone is exercising their right to do so. And what you said is very important as well. Is pay attention, to your local elections. Who your county commissioner is. Who your city council members are, because they have just as much of the ability to impact your local communities. I would probably say even more than a little bit more the national level. And it's very easy to let someone in and allow corruption to start manifesting within those communities. So definitely stay plugged into that. And in my opinion, I think that this I don't want it to happen. However, I really believe that this was a plan that the Democrats would take back the House. We saw it several years ago when George W. Bush had control of the House and the Senate. The midterms, he lost the House. We saw it again with Obama. Obama had the majority going into office. He lost again the House. I think the planners, again, tinfoil hat, the planners have this systematic way of trying to keep at its odds against each other continuously with this left-right paradigm. And so I would like to see some of that change with the upcoming. We'll have to wait and see tonight. I know that the polling office, there's going to be a lot of contested battles. I can't recall the exact number, but the governors and the flip of governors is something also to watch. So I'm going to be staying awake late tonight to monitor, to watch it, and to see exactly what happens. But yeah, it's going to be an action-packed day, V. Definitely.
Oh yeah, man, it's going to be very much an action-packed day. Let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. A lot of people are watching the governors' races. There's a dozen new governors that are running this time around. So it's a battle. It's a battle, and let's see what happens. I think I don't know. I would like to see. I'm not going to say I think, but I would like to see the Republicans holding the House and gaining seats in the Senate. I think there's a strong possibility of that happening, and if it does happen, it kind of bucks the trend, so to speak, because usually the incumbent party is the one that kind of loses the midterms or takes a setback in the midterms. Usually that's how it's done, just like as you were saying. So we shall see what happens, my man. We shall see what happens.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyway, Siege, how long past the midterms can this go, my man? How long past the midterms can this go? Because this is interesting. This is from Vanity Fair, who I take Vanity Fair's political reasoning and political aptitude as much as I take the I don't know. I was going to come up with something funny, but anyway, what's your take on this?
Well, it did break in on Fox News as well today, and I know that they're very heavily conservative based focus, but it does appear, outside of this article regarding this, saying goodbye to Trump's Hope Hicks. She left. She's going on to TV. She's moving to the West Coast. But the interesting part of the article, specifically where it breaks down that the bigger concern in terms of potential losing in Congress is finally Robert Mueller to come out with his final report. And this has been confirmed by a couple of insiders saying that it will focus heavily on Don Jr. and Roger Stone. When you take a look at specifically the allegations, it has nothing to do with any type of Russia collusion, and has more to do so with the fact that Don Jr. may have accidentally misspoke about what Don what his dad did and didn't know leading up to the meeting that was planted by the people that they put inside the Trump campaign on purpose when they set this meeting with this, quote unquote Russian attorney. So apparently that's the gist of it, which is absolutely nothing. So if Don Jr. did perjure himself, I'm confident that it was probably more. I mean, think about it. I mean, it was a fake meeting to begin with, right? He was set up from the get-go. And I think the true question is that how long will the Patriots allow this to continue? That if there is this narrative to trust Sessions, these things are happening in the background. How long will we allow this to go? What is our patience level? Will they flip the House and make it a battle to 2020? And then Trump needs to wait to secure his office in 2020 to make sure that nothing happens to him. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I wish I did. However, what I do know is we cannot continue to recycle the same news over and over. And that's what's happening in a lot of media right now. They're recycling the old news. We know the Brits' involvement. We know the corruption with Obama and Hillary. It's recycled. We have all the facts. What we need now is action to take place, and that begins with either getting Jeff Sessions out of the way and putting in an attorney general that's going to go ahead and dismiss and fire Robert Mueller, or for Rosenstein to release unredacted the full FISA memo. We're still waiting on those things. So I just want to ensure whatever happens past these midterms, that we just can't allow these excuses to keep manifesting themselves and asking for more time. I'm over it. I really am. V, what's your thoughts?
My first thought is why one of my best friends went into a Vanity Fair, which is a women's magazine, a women's fashion magazine, to get this article.
Well, it was actually streaming on Drudge Report. So
got it. Okay,
yeah.
I was like
Drudge.
I'm like, what? I'm like, this is Vanity Fair. I'm like, this ain't CJ. Why is CJ in Vanity Fair for?
Well, I like to look at particular clothing for some weekends if there's a good drag night going on.
Oh man, that's a good one, dude. I was getting concerned, man. I got a robocaller. This is cool.
I've had so many of those,
dude. Yeah, my new phone, right? I got, I'm a phone whore. So my new phone, I got the Google Pixel X, the 3XL. So every time somebody calls me, when I know it's a robocaller, I hit the button, and Google Assistant will answer the phone and says, "Hi, this person is using a service from Google to monitor phone calls. State your name and what is the purpose of your call." And literally says that. And the
search results.
Oh shit!
Starting with one from Google.
Who's that? Was that me? Oh crap! I activated Google. See that? So the assistant would actually answer and communicate with the person and take a message. And if it's a spammer, it'll list it as spammer and it'll block them the next time around. Pretty nifty, bro. Pretty nifty.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And no, I don't put all my private stuff on there, so don't worry about it, folks, if you were thinking. Yeah, part of this article. Yeah, I mean, there's there is a thing towards Don Jr. and Roger Stone. But we'll see how it plays out, man. We'll see how it plays out. Got especially after the midterms and whatnot. We'll see how it plays.
Well, we do know that if they do, win back or take back the House, we do know that this whole Russia collusion thing is going to continue, right? They're going to continue milking it.
Oh, it's going to be worse. It's going to be ratcheted up to level 11. You'll never hear the end of it. And all the things that Trump wants to do for his president, they're gonna block him on everything, dude. Everything is going to get blocked. And that's a nightmare scenario. That's when the globalists will just outlast him, so to speak, and contain him, and not let him do anything that he needs to do, and frustrate him to no degree. But don't worry, you can trust Sessions, CJ. You can trust Jeff Sessions. He'll make it all better for all of us. Don't you feel better, CJ?
Oh, I feel better already. Yeah, good. I do.
Obama's out there claiming responsibility for the booming economy. Hold on.
You didn't build that economy. I did. Boo.
If somebody tells you they're going to build that economy, tell them, hold on. You got to remember what happened 2 years ago. I did it. That's me. Hold on. Let's talk about the bus driver. I'm low energy today, Siege. I'm low energy today.
We have to have the music, V. You have to cue the music.
Which music, man?
The Maduro, the sweetness. You know his.
Dude, thank you for reminding me.
You have to have that bookmark somewhere.
I gotta pull up the music because Nicholas, the sweetness Maduro is. Let me bust it out here, dude. Here we go. Yes. Here we go. All right, folks. When the moron did this several years ago, the man who is known as Nicholas the Sweetness, the bus driver Maduro, Venezuela's seemingly unshakable authoritarian ruler, who has managed to hang on to power for years, longer than most fervent optimists even predicted, and when his country collapsed into hyperinflationary supernova, is starting to sweat. Just 4 days after President Trump signed an executive order last Thursday enabling new sanctions on Venezuela's gold sector in a bid to disrupt trade with Turkey, which U.S. officials believe is undermining efforts to cripple Venezuela's economy and force Maduro and the members of his government out of office, Maduro is now seeking to repatriate $550 million in gold bars from the Bank of England over fears it could be caught up in international sanctions on the country. There are two problems. One, Maduro is probably the biggest idiot there is, and he's probably too late now that the U.S. has effectively placed a lien on Venezuela's gold. It's amazing how we were able to do these shits. It's crazy. It's gross overreach. Like, who are we to do that? And two, there's barely any precious metal left. Venezuela's hard currency holdings have dwindled, and existing U.S. financial sanctions have effectively blocked President Nicholas, the Sweetness of the bus driver Maduro's government, from borrowing on international markets. According to the IMF, Venezuela's gold reserves were just about 5 million metric tons, or troy ounces, down from a recent peak of just 12 million. Much of this decline is due to the country's payment for imports in gold, and is what the U.S. is hoping to curb going forward. Now I'm going to break this down for you guys and show you the stupidity of this man. But first, a little more salsa. Yeah, a little Mark Anthony for you guys. A little Mark Anthony. In the morning. All right, here's the deal. Back in about 2013 or so, I think it's about 2013 or 14, Nicholas the Sweetness, the bus driver Maduro, thought it was a wonderful idea that when his forex reserves were being depleted at a massive rate because the Bolivar and state-controlled planning of an economy doesn't go quite so well. So his currency began to hyperinflate at a ridiculous pace. He put on all sorts of governmental price controls, making the market even worse for his economy. He's ruined his oil sectors, energy sectors, completely ruined And then on top of all this, to add insult to injury, he needs to figure out a way to A, get food into the bellies of Venezuelans, and B, get toilet paper to the butts of Venezuelans. Because at this time, folks, they were having a food shortage and a toilet paper shortage. I guess that's not much of a problem. You don't have to worry about toilet paper when you don't have anything to eat. Fast forward a few years, and the entire country gets on what's called the Maduro diet. That's right, the Maduro diet, where you are malnourished and you drop an average of 20 to 25 pounds per citizen. And the biggest effect are these victims, are these children. This, in a country that is rich of natural resources, how these dumb idiots are starving to death is beyond me. Actually, it's not beyond me. I know what the answer is. It's called government. It's called government. You want your socialism? Here you go, folks. Every step of the way, government screws it up. Everything, think about it. They're living in a I can't even say this word. They're living in a bloody rainforest. Okay, they're living in the bloody Amazon. They're living in the bloody Amazon. The friggin' rainforest is in Venezuela. and they're having water issues. How you fuck? I can't. I'm trying to keep my composure here, Siege. I'm trying to keep my composure. How are you living in a freaking place that sees in some areas 110 inches of rain a year, and you have a water crisis? Why is there a water crisis? Because Maduro goes to every reservoir. He sends men out to every single reservoir and every single well, and he rations out water for his own population. And now there's water problems. You see, the dumb Venezuelans, and I'm going to have to call them stupid idiot Venezuelans, who are too damn dumb, too damn low IQ, and too damn malnourished to do anything about it. They think their answer is socialism, more socialism. Well, this socialist, Maduro, didn't quite work out. Maybe we get another one in. There's no one to get in, you jackasses, because I'll tell you why. You've scared away all the businesses. You frightened off foreign investors. Nobody who has anything to do with your crazy-ass country. So have your cake and eat it too. So in this situation, Maduro needs to raise forex. Why? He needs to get food into the empty bellies of his citizens, and he needs to get toilet paper. How does he do it? Well, he takes his gold, which at that time was about 12 metric tons. And what he did, he gave it to the Bank of England to use it as collateral for a line of credit in order for them to raise their forex reserves, in order for them to get imports. Why do they get imports? Because the country is so damn stupid and filled with uneducated morons that they have to buy everything that they can make themselves. It's beyond me, Siege. It's beyond. Siege, if I told you the kind of crap they were importing, you shoot yourself. You would not believe a group of people like this exist on planet Earth, but they do. They're called Venezuelans. They're called Venezuelans. My God, you deserve the government you get, folks. But this is ridiculous. This is beyond dumb.
This is difficult to understand. Yeah. Difficult.
Why are you importing bananas, you idiots, when you have banana trees growing in there? Why are you importing mangoes when you have mangoes and fruit trees on your own? You're living in one of the most you're living on a rainforest floating on top of an ocean of oil, and you're starving to death. You friggin' morons. But Nicholas the Sweetness of Maduro, the bus driver Maduro, he's dancing the bachata, he's doing the merengue, he's doing the salsa. He's worth about $40 billion. All of a sudden, not bad for a bus driver. How about that?
Yeah, very nice.
Not bad for a bus driver, right? $40 billion his net worth, right? Not bad at all. And rising. Nobody questions this bunghole. Why does this crooked crook? And don't give me that thing about Chavez. Chavez didn't do crap. Chavez is another socialist idiot who talks out of the sides of his mouth. So, Mr. Socialism, Chavez died. He had like 60 billion. 60 billion sitting in six bank. Mr. Socialist, he cares about the poor. No, they use the poor to get power. And then they extract the wealth from the rich. And that's how it works, folks. So I hope they do sanctions gold. I hope they do topple this asshole's government. I really do. Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and I don't think that even China and Russia will continue to really even backstop.
They don't want
Maduro.
to.
They don't want to.
I reported this years ago. I said China and Russia will do nothing to support Maduro. They will step in to help out certain state companies that are strategically viable, like PVDSA, which is their state-sponsored, their state-owned petroleum company, which Maduro thought it was a wonderful idea to fire petroleum engineers, CJ, and make them go build favelas for the poor. And what happens to the oil rigs? The oil rigs are dilapidated. They're falling on disrepair, and they're leaking oil into the lake. Because Maduro thought it was a wonderful idea to have them fire petroleum engineers. You don't need the petroleum engineers to run oil rigs. No, make them go build favelas for the retarded poor, so they can vote for your ass again on a rigged election. You want to talk about rigged elections? There you go. Do that. And then have American idiots come down like Sean Penn and all these other morons thinking that there's this wonderful utopia in Venezuela. What a revolution. What a shithole. That's what it is. What a shithole. And everywhere these idiots, socialists, all up and down South America. Shithole. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what. I mean, I can only imagine what the borders look like right now to Venezuela. Was it Brazil,
Colombia.
right? And
Colombia,
yeah.
and Brazil as well. I mean,
So,
you get, but
good.
but you have mostly the Colombians. They're heading towards Colombia, and the Colombians are look. You guys got to stop. There's not enough
Exactly.
places for you guys. There's not enough jobs for you guys. And what's happening is that the Venezuelans, these migrants are coming in from Venezuela. They're winding up and they're joining, folks. They're joining the Honduran, the Honduran hustlers. The Honduran hustlers. That caravan has grown as well. And the Guatemalan gangsters, the Honduran hustlers, the El Salvadorian killers, they're all coming, folks. And the Venezuelan broke idiots. They're all coming. It's a wonderful cacophony of talent coming up to the border, folks. The type of people you want in. Highly educated. They speak fluent English. They all have master's degrees and PhDs. They all have engineering and science backgrounds. The type of people we want in this country. So let's just open up the borders and let them all in. Insanity. Absolute insanity. God, I was just shoot one of them dead at the border and stop this whole entire thing.
What's that old Cypress? Insane in the Membrane. That's what it reminds me of.
Insane in the Membrane. Don't play it. We're going to get demonetized on top of it.
I know, don't do it.
Yeah, copyright strikes.
That's what it reminds me of. Insane in the Membrane, right? I mean, just
totally
craziness.
It's insanity. Like, I mean, this is what kills me of Venezuela, right? You're living in a freaking tropical rainforest filled with the most arable soil in the world. You can grow so many crops on there. Rice plentifully, beans plentifully, no problems, right? Look at the bloody Cubans. Cubans went to sanctions. Cubans are smart. Smart people, man. Smart people. You know what they did? We're on sanctions. They started rooftop gardening. They developed aquaponics. I mean, they did so many. They were self-sufficient.
Yep.
Venezuela gave us a handout, build us a favela. This is what happens when you build society and you aim it for the lowest of the barrel. That's what happens. You get Venezuela. You get Venezuela. Here you have a nation of people living in a rainforest in some of the most rich natural resources on the planet, floating on top of oil, and they're starving to death. Whose fault is that? Why should my taxpayer money go to help you mothers out? It's ridiculous. Anyway, what do you want to tackle next, man?
Let's go ahead and talk a little bit. There was news last week that Trump had delivered to his cabinet to redesign, to come up with a new plan for China as it relates to trade. Now it appears that Xi Jinping has come out with his own little speech in regards to the sanctions, in regards to how America looks at China, and he's also pledged $30 trillion in imports to China. Yeah, that's a pretty bold statement.
Yep. That was the overriding message delivered by the Chinese president Xi Jinping. Worry about your own damn self, referencing to Trump, during his address at the International Import-Export opening ceremony in Shanghai on Monday, which featured more than 3,600 companies from 172 countries. CJ, let me ask you a question. Have you heard of a convention or a trade convention happening in America where 3,600 companies from 172 countries show up?
Negative.
Correct. Siege, did we hear about a summit where, over 100 some odd countries show up in St. Petersburg, Russia? Thousands of companies talking about the St. Peter's Economic Forum. Do we have something like that similar here in the United States?
Not to my knowledge, me.
No. We have Apple keynote speeches, and then we have dog and pony shows like the Consumer Electronics Show, this, that, and the other. We don't have anything serious. So once again, folks, here it is in the land of adults. I'm not saying China's perfect. There's a lot of things about China I do not like. I don't like it. Some things they do is quite scary. But here's the point I'm trying to make: is how come these idiots are doing it and we can't? Are we dumb? Are we stupid? Or what's going on here? Are we that dumb that we can't pull this off? 3,600 companies from 172 countries, regions, and organizations, where Xi urged critics of China's policies to worry about their own problems before opining, on China's. Each country should work hard to improve its own business environment. One cannot always beautify oneself while criticizing others, and one can't shine a flashlight on other people without looking at oneself, said Mr. Xi. That said, Xi stopped short of naming Trump or the U.S. in the speech, his most high-profile economic address since April. Instead, and without a trace of irony, he stepped up warnings that protectionism would harm global growth while pledging to boost domestic consumption, strengthen intellectual property protection, advance trade talks with Europe, Japan, and South Korea. In there was a dominant theme from the expo, which is being held as China's trade surplus with the U.S. has continued to expand. In spite of U.S. tariffs on roughly half of Chinese goods crossing its borders, it was China's attempts to position itself as the leader of a bloc of emerging market nations as the U.S. and many of its allies declined to send government delegations. All told, 18 heads of state were expected to attend the summit. The Chinese government declared Monday and Tuesday holding holidays in Shanghai to ameliorate traffic for the event, which Xi had said will be held annually from here on out. But rather than breaking new ground, Xi's speech was essentially a retread. Representatives of 3,600 companies from 172 countries were attending the expo. One of these, 180 U.S. companies sent representatives, including Alphabet, Boeing, Caterpillar, Facebook, General Motors, and Honeywell. While China is interested in Boeing, they're interested in Caterpillar, they're interested in General Motors and Honeywell. Facebook and Alphabet, you can go take a flying leap. Like China wants you. Xi pledged further opening measures in telecoms, medical care, education, culture without elaborating. He forecast that China would import $30 trillion in goods and $10 trillion in services for the next 15 years. That's huge, man.
Massive.
We don't have anything remotely close to that. Meaningful progress can only be claimed when major structural challenges are positively dealt with and international companies can compete on an equal footing with domestic ones. Unbelievable. You know, and this is the kind of stuff, this is why we need a physical economy and we need to have it built because there's so much opportunity, so much money to be made around the world. We're missing out, man. We're just sitting around here talking about Russia collusion and all this other BS that goes with it, man. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Anyway, Siege, I guess it's time we make that special announcement. What say you, my friend? Do we say it now or do we say it for later?
Make sure to stay tuned. Go to roguenews.com. Put your email in there for your subscriber information. We got a big announcement coming out tomorrow, and it'll be accompanied by a special video as well, V.
Absolutely. So get ready. We have a special announcement. What time we're going to do this announcement, Siege? Tonight, tomorrow?
Probably at noon. Noon tomorrow.
Noon tomorrow, folks. Right after the London Poll. Get ready. And with that being said, we are over and out. Take it away, CJ.